Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. This one is real exciting. It's got highlights, it's got offensive system breakdown, it's got chokes, it's got mistakes by the coaches and by the players, basically how not to win an intense playoff-like game in the regular season. Before I forget, and before we get to that, I want to make sure you guys know about the voting for the Shorty Awards. It's basically the Oscars for the internet, and if you really like our content, please go over there and tweet a vote for us because it won't be that hard to get all the way to #1. We're in the top 10 right now, but we just need a few votes, that's it. So if you could get over there, the link's in the description, please give us a vote for the Shorty Awards and let us get to the top of that. And without further ado, here's our breakdown of the Heat Bulls from Sunday afternoon. Let's start with an amazing play by LeBron. Notice how the weak side defenders Hamilton and Lucas are sleeping on the weak side staring at the ball. When the screen comes, nobody calls, and Rip Hamilton is nowhere to be found and they get a dunk. Looking at it more closely, Rip Hamilton should have stepped in around that screen and gotten in the way of LeBron and made it harder to get to the hoop, and Brewer needs to get his hands up to pressure that pass. In case you're wondering, yes, he's way above the rim and he actually scales over Lucas, which is an amazing play. You're not going to stop that. The Bulls like to run UCLA high post, and you'll see Derrick Rose do a UCLA cut with a screen and then set a back screen for Hamilton. Notice how LeBron James does not step over on the weak side even though he's guarding Brewer, a non-threat. As a result, Rip Hamilton gets a wide open layup. They run this play again, same exact cuts with Rose doing UCLA cut and then back screening Hamilton. This becomes flex as Noah sets a down screen for Rose, who gets right to the basket for a layup. Same exact play again, and this time you'll see what happens when they don't get the backdoor cut and they have to swing the ball back around. The backdoor cutter will get another down screen from Noah and come around, and as he curls, look at the weak side screen by Boozer for Korver. That makes Boozer's man help out on the cutter, opening up Boozer for a wide open cross-court pass. He just bricks the shot. Good offense though. The Bulls show zone for the first time this season, and the Heat get a little too cute when LeBron tries to shovel a pass to Haslam, who turns his head. Textbook fast break, the ball doesn't touch the ground in the half court, and they get a dunk. The Heat go simple 1-3-1 offense, but because Boozer's position is so bad, letting Curry step in front of him there, they should get a dunk. Instead, they bobble the ball, and watch how Boozer leaves his feet and has to foul LeBron James. Speaking of Boozer's defense, watch how Rose will trail the play, and Boozer's supposed to come over and contain the ball handler. Instead, he fouls him and gives him an and one. And here, you'll see Boozer is supposed to come over on the pick and roll and rotate to help on the roller. Instead, he stands there and watches Bosh get in for a dunk. The Bulls like to run a simple pick and roll on the left side with Rose, and watch how Noah being in the lane makes Anthony stay on him. He can't help on the roller, who is Taj Gibson, who gets right to the basket for a dunk. Same play, but watch how Noah isn't under the basket. That allows Joel Anthony to come over and take away the roller and get in the way of Derrick Rose. Similar play here, but it's really a setup to get a double screen on the weak side for Rip Hamilton, who comes around wide open and nails a jumper. The Heat have simplified their offense. Here, a staggered screen for LeBron in the corner, and normally he'd come around the top, but instead, he'll cut backdoor and get an and one. Good cut. Now that Mike Miller's back, they can run sets for him. Watch how Spoelstra's going to tell him to stay in the corner for the timing, and they'll do a double screen. Taj Gibson should be over more to his left to fit around that screen, but instead gets pinned down, and Miller is wide open for a jump shot. The Heat will run two simultaneous screens on both sides of the court, but there's no way Chris Bosh can see both. You're going to miss one of the cutters, and of course, when Mike Miller cuts backdoor, he's going to miss him completely. It is nice to have Dwayne Wade out there who can create a shot anyway. The Heat will also run UCLA high post, where you'll see Dwayne Wade do a UCLA cut off of LeBron James, get a double screen in the weak side and come around, and that'll get LeBron James good position down low. However, it's a little too far for him for that lefty turnaround. Then there's my favorite set, horns. They hit the pinch post and come around, and normally the guard will screen for the guy in the corner. Instead, he opts to go to the weak side and screen for the other corner and pop out. The offense kind of dies here, and it leaves Norris Cole having to go one-on-one and shoot a runner in Carlos Boozer's face, which becomes an air ball. And then there's the pedestrian screen and roll for LeBron James. I can see why they're going to bring Carlos Boozer's man up to screen. They know he's a terrible defender on the hedge. But watch how LeBron James bails him out by jacking up a 20-footer. With a little bit of a lead in the fourth quarter, Spoelstra tries to get a little rest for both Wade and James, which is a mistake in my mind. because now this team doesn't really have purpose or know what they're supposed to be doing. They almost throw the ball away on a strange pass to the top, and there's just not enough movement, and it's a bad shot against a good defensive team. So the teams start to get their stars back in, and the Heat opt to go ISO with Dwayne Wade in the post. He does pretty well down there, but there's no movement on the weak side, and he's got to do it all on his own. Great defense by Rip Hamilton. And I want you to watch Cole down here. He's guarding the ball, but then opts to take Korver, the shooter. You can't leave the ball, though. That's the most important thing, and that lets Taj Gibson get in for a layup. So the Heat went to their star in the post, and the Bulls go to their star on the perimeter. He blows by Cole and hits an amazing floater. I want you to see just how hard that shot is. My goodness. And Spoelstra let the rookie Cole in there way too long, and that allowed Rose to simply isolate on him and blow by him for a beautiful spin move layup in the lane. Here's a weird lineup the Bulls have never used before, which is Hamilton and Korver and Boozer and Taj Gibson at the same time. They've scouted this play with a triple screen around the weak side, and Boozer plays a one-man zone and comes in and gets a steal. While LeBron's offense in the post has improved, he still bulldozes to the basket, and there's an offensive foul at the beginning of his choke. However, he does bulldoze again, and the Bulls don't come over fast enough, and he gets to the basket, so it did work there. Down the stretch, the Bulls fell in love with this strange play where they pitched to Hamilton and then screened for him, letting him make decisions. I don't understand why it's not Rose getting that pitch and getting a screen. Both times it happened here, they got an offensive charge and then they throw the ball to Noah, who gets it knocked off his leg. I want you to imagine if Rose gets that ball, now he's going to get the screen, and then that's Hamilton on the weak side spotting up. Instead, you're going to let Hamilton make decisions on a drive, and he just throws the ball away. This is one of the only times Wade gets a screen and roll on top, and you'll see Gibson not hedge and come up. If you let Wade turn the corner, he's going to score on you. Gibson isn't only better than Boozer on defense, he can finish at the rim as well, and when Rip Hamilton gets it to him on the baseline, I don't think Boozer can make that shot. This is the kind of offense I'd prefer to see the Heat run, with Wade on top of the ball and LeBron James in the deep corner curling out with a screen. Now he can get to the basket and get to the rim. However, that's as clean a block as you're going to see, and it was a bad call. Key defensive breakdown by the Heat. On the screen and roll on top, Haslam has to come over and Chalmers come over to help him because they have a non-shooter in the corner. They don't need to watch him as closely. Instead, Boozer gets right in there and gets a layup. Wade coming down with the ball, and Taj Gibson's going to jump in. Beautiful. And there's Boozer playing some defense and getting a steal. Rip Hamilton completely blows the layup, and this is a pretty crazy sequence. Boozer again saves the day by making a great save, gets back in the play, and after another couple misses where the Heat aren't really boxing out, Boozer, of all people, gets in there, does a little fadeaway jump shot. Here is why Heat fans might be a little bit upset with Spoelstra, because they're going to call a screen and roll ISO after taking some time off the clock. But they have it go with Chalmers setting the screen, which makes no sense. It should be Bosch. But LeBron James waves it off for some inexplicable reason and decides to ISO, doesn't really do a kind of any move, and gets an awful shot with everybody back down below the free throw line. The Heat do not get back on defense, let Rose come right back down and get an and one. And then again, we're going to have a choke by LeBron after that last shot where they isolate. They'll set a double screen on both sides of the ball, which doesn't work because he can't shoot it. It's too early. But when he does go to the basket, he does that same old crazy off 1 foot turn on the left side, shooting with the right hand. Impossible shot. Choke. Speaking of choke, Derrick Rose misses 2 free throws that would have given the Bulls the lead. And I want you to look at his eyes in the close-up. When you shoot a free throw, you're supposed to be focusing on the target, the rim, not the ball. He's done a lot to fix his shot. That's one of the last pieces of the puzzle. But guess what? LeBron chokes again by missing 2 free throws that would ice the game. And I want you to look at Dwayne Wade's play here because his right foot is out of bounds, not the left. And that shouldn't have been a jump ball. And while no ref would probably ever call this, the ball needs to get to the top of its arc before you can tip it, and here the Heat are able to steal it and get the ball back, and they have to foul. And just when you think this game couldn't get any weirder, Chalmers chokes by missing the second, and then Boozer's going to choke by dropping that ball. They somehow get away with it because it looks like Rose is traveling with it before he can call a timeout, but the Bulls do get a timeout and a shot at the final play. Down by 2, the final play is going to be Rose coming around a Boozer screen curling toward the baseline. Watch Dwayne Wade, as the ball goes to Hamilton, he's going to face the other way and make sure Rose doesn't get the ball, completely thwarting that play, and all they can get is a pick and roll on top. Rose is discombobulated, he almost charges, and he misses Hamilton wide open in the corner, and the game is over. So there you have it, sports fans. If I were a Bulls fan, which I kind of am, I wouldn't be too concerned about this because remember, Luol Deng did not play, and he is perhaps the best defender on LeBron in the league, which isn't saying a lot because LeBron lights everybody up, but if they were to have him, they would have gotten more scoring, they would have gotten better defense, and probably the win. And let's not overlook C.J. Watson. When Rose got in trouble with fouls early in the game, they had to bring in John Lucas III, who is simply not an NBA point guard. With C.J. Watson in there, they're a different team. So I would be concerned if I were the Heat because in a 7-game series, the Bulls definitely have enough weapons, especially with Rip Hamilton playing, to beat them, and certainly to make it a great, great series. So we'll make sure to keep up with this series as it goes to the regular season and the adjustments made. Don't forget, give us a Shorty Award vote if you can on Twitter, and the link is down in the description. We really need just a few more of you guys' votes, and we'll take this whole thing. So thanks for joining us, and don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, it's not a channel, it's a conversation. You in?